as well. So I'm just going to try it now and let you know how it tastes. I'm sure it'll be delicious though, it smells really good. That's lovely. That's really nice. We are going to be having this as our dessert this evening. Hi everyone and welcome back to Gigi's Kitchen, and if you are new here then hello and welcome. My name's Alexis, and in today's video I want to share with you how to make a delicious steamed plum pudding. As I just mentioned, today I want to share with you how to make a delicious steamed pudding recipe. So this recipe is really easy to do, but it is slightly time consuming. It does take a while to cook the steamed pudding, but the efforts are worth the results, I promise you. And if you're like me and you have a little bit of a gluten intolerance and you love Christmas pudding, but you don't want to eat the gluten-free ones that they sell in the shops because of all the additives in them, then this is a brilliant alternative. And I've laid out all of my ingredients, so I'm ready to go. So what I'm going to do, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to grease the bowl that I'm going to put the steamed pudding into eventually. So I'm just going to spread the oil all around the sides. I'm just going to do this with my hands as well. I find it easier with my hands, to be honest. My hands are clean as well, if anybody's wondering. So I'm just going to spread all the oil around the sides like so. And then I'll go and wash my hands. And I'll share with you the rest of the recipe once I've got rid of this oil on my fingers. Yes. So that's the pan oiled, or the bowl that I'm going to use for the steamed pudding oiled. And I'm just going to go and wash my hands now. I've set the oil dish aside and I'm now going to deal with the main ingredients of the pudding. So in this bowl here I have about 50 ml of brandy. Now if you didn't want to use brandy, you could use something like orange juice or apple juice instead. And I'm just going to pour that over the dried mixed fruit like so. And I'm going to try and mix that round as best I can without it spilling over the sides of the bowl. So yes, I think that's mixed in as well as I can. So in this bowl here, I have some dried mixed fruit, so some candied peel and some raisins. So I've got about 125 grams of raisins and then 125 grams of mixed peel. And then to that I've also added about 10 to 12, I think it was 12 medjool dates, just because I love dates. If you don't like dates so much, you don't have to add too many. But I just basically took the stones out and then I just sliced them into pieces like that. So that's all in there now, and that's soaking in the brandy right now. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to deal with my dry ingredients for this recipe. So in this bowl here, I have some ground almonds. So I've got about 125 grams of ground almonds. And then I also have about 125 grams of brown rice as well, that I'm going to put in the bowl. And I'm going to mix those ingredients together, like so. And then I'm going to add some ground sweet cinnamon to this. So I'm going to add about a teaspoon of ground sweet cinnamon. And then I've also got some ground mixed spice as well. So I'm going to add about a teaspoon of ground mixed spice to the dish as well, like so. And then I've got some ground nutmeg. I love the smell of nutmeg at Christmas. It always smells so good. I'm not going to add too much of this either because it is quite a strong flavour. So I'm going to add about a quarter teaspoon of that, because it does tend to take over if it's in something and there's too much of it. And then I'm also going to add some ground ginger. So I think I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons, or teaspoons, sorry, of ground ginger. And then I've got some baking powder here as well. So I'm going to add in about a teaspoon of baking powder as well. And then I'm just going to mix, oh hang on, I always forget the salt. Don't know why. I'm going to add about a quarter teaspoon of salt to this as well. And the salt will just help to preserve it and keep it nice. And then I'm just going to mix those ingredients together like so. I can smell that brandy and it's already beginning to smell like Christmas now. Although it's nearly Christmas, but we're not quite there yet, are we? So yeah. Oh, this would make a brilliant alternative on Christmas Day as well. If you have a family that doesn't really like Christmas pudding, or doesn't mind it but aren't too keen, then you could always make this as well. So yes, I've mixed all of those dry ingredients together. So I'm going to set these 2 bowls aside and I'll be back in a moment. Now I'm going to deal with the wet ingredients. So in this bowl here I have about 150 grams of coconut sugar. Now you can use brown sugar if you want to as well, or you could use something like maple sugar as well. Any type of sugar is great. The reason I use coconut sugar is simply because it slides through the liver easier. And when I'm cooking something similar to this, I always find that coconut sugar tends to caramelise like brown sugar does. So I generally tend to like it in steamed puddings and cakes and things because you get that very caramelised taste. And now what I'm going to do is I'm also going to add 2 large eggs to this as well. There's no butter in this, so this is dairy free and gluten free. And all I'm going to do is just simply whisk these ingredients together. If I turn my whisk on, I'm just going to go and turn the whisk on. I've turned my whisk on, so I'm now going to blend these ingredients together. I've blended the eggs and the sugar together, and now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mix all of these ingredients in this large bowl with the flour that I mixed earlier, so the rice flour and the ground almonds. I actually used almond flour, but I think the first time I made this dish I think I may have used ground almonds and it turned out okay. So ground almonds tend to be rougher than almond flour, so sometimes they don't always glue together well, but the rice flour should help everything stick together. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in my egg mixture as well. So I'm just going to add in the eggs and the sugar. And as I did earlier, I am going to mix these ingredients together. Oh dear, what a mess I've made on the side of this bowl. Oh well, at least I'm the one washing up, eh? Oh, one of them days today, I think. Right, so now I'm going to mix all of this together and then I will take it to the hob and transfer it into the other dish, the one we oiled earlier. But I'm just going to continue to keep mixing these ingredients together. I've finished mixing these ingredients together and the consistency of this cake mixture is okay for me. But if you think your cake mixture is a little bit too dry, then you could add a little bit of milk. Just add it bit by bit. I normally use oat milk because I like to remain gluten and dairy free. So I always use a milk like oat milk or almond milk, but you can use a milk of your choice. So that's the cake mixture done, and I will take that over in a moment, but I've got to make a hat for the pudding. Now this may sound a bit funny, but trust me, it really does work. So I've got a piece of tin foil here, and then I have a piece of parchment paper that I've placed on top, and I've cut it about the same size as the tin foil. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold the parchment paper and the tin foil until it forms like a little hat that I'm going to put on top of the Pyrex dish. I did used to have a lid for the Pyrex dish, but unfortunately it broke. So I am now using tin foil and parchment paper to make a lid for the Pyrex dish for the steamed pudding to steam really well, hopefully. So yes, I'm off to put the mixture into the Pyrex dish. As you can see, I've transferred the pudding mixture from the mixing bowl to the Pyrex dish, and I've smoothed it out as evenly as I can, and I'm going to put that on top of a saucepan, and I'm going to add boiling water to the base of this pan. I can hear the pan coming to the boil, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the heat down on this to a medium heat, and as I said, I'm going to leave this for about 2 hours and let it cook. It's been an hour and a half, so I'm going to check the bottom of the saucepan, and I'm going to add a little bit more boiling water to the saucepan, and then I will also check the cake as well to see if it has cooked. So I'm just going to peel back the tin lid that I made earlier, and I'm just going to check the cake. No, that's still coming out with cake mix on it, so I'm going to leave that for a little longer. I'm going to put this back on to the saucepan, and as I said, I'm going to leave this for another half an hour and just let it simmer away. It has been 2 hours, so I thought I'd come and check the cake. I'm just going to remove the lid like so, and then what I'm going to do is just put my skewer in again and see if it comes out clean. It's kind of coming out clean. I might leave it for 5 more minutes. If your skewer doesn't come out completely clean, then I would leave it for 5 minutes and check it again. And then once it comes out clean, obviously take it off the hob and leave it to cool. But I'm just going to leave this to cook for a little while longer. It's been 5 minutes, so I'm going to check the cake again. And I'm going to see if the skewer comes out clean. Yes, it is coming out clean now. So I'm going to take this off the hob and I'm going to leave it to cool, and then I will try some and let you know how it tastes. I left the cake to cool for a good few hours. It's still quite warm, and what I've done is I've just put a knife around the edge of the pudding to help it come out of the Pyrex dish a bit easier. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a plate on, and I'm going to tip this upside down, and then hopefully we will have a delicious pudding. There is some stuck to the bottom, but it doesn't look too bad, I have to say. I'm going to cut into this now, and then I will grab myself a spoon and I will let you know how it tastes, but I'll just show you the inside. So this is the inside of the pudding. I'm going to make that slice a bit smaller. This will probably serve about 6 to 8 people, I'd say. Maybe even a few more, because it is quite a stodgy pudding. And that's the inside there, so it's basically like a fruit cake, and I'm really looking forward to trying this. I've grabbed myself a fork, and I've also added some coconut cream with maple syrup as well. So what I like to do is just put some coconut cream in a bowl and then just add a tablespoon or 2 of maple syrup. It's delicious. You can have this dessert though with custard, or you could have it with ice cream as well. As I said earlier in the video, you can also have this on Christmas Day if you want to, or maybe Boxing Day as well. So I'm just going to try it now and let you know how it tastes. I'm sure it'll be delicious though, it smells really good. That's lovely. That's really nice. We are going to be having this as our dessert this evening, so I'm really looking forward to that. That's how you make this delicious steamed pudding, and that recipe I will link in the description box below for you. As I mentioned earlier, we're going to be having this for our dessert this evening, and it smells and tastes so good, I can't wait. So for now, that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to give me a big thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and please feel free to leave any comments below. And please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. See you all soon. Bye.